Gathing,
Present.
Johnston,
Present.
Brett,
Present.
Wells,
Yes, ma'am.
Present.
Williams.
Present.
All right, we have a quorum. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're on item D, good news, superintendent's report.
Good evening. We completed the affiliated performance report for our Parents as Teachers program, and I'm happy to say that we will remain with a status of blue ribbon for our program. What that actually means is that to earn this particular endorsement is that we continue to have a quality program for our parents where we are providing quality services to our parents. So we're very happy that we are providing good services to our parents. Our other bit of good news is that we did have parent orientation on August 4th and 5th of last week. And we did have a little glitch where our power was out. However, our parents showed up. We were relocated to the high school. We served over, I want to say the accurate number is 257 families showed up for our orientation. We do have another orientation that is set, and then we will also have another screening on August the 10th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, I don't know if Chris Brown is here. Okay, I would like him to come forward. As a part of Youth Empowerment Program, we had already started a youth entrepreneurship program. I am really excited that one of our community partners will be the T-shirt store. The CEO, owner, is Chris Brown, and I would like him to just come forward and to explain to the board the T-shirt program and what we're proposing in your board packet under action items.
We're gonna find out.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Brown. I am the president of the T-shirt store. The T-shirt store is a custom apparel print shop that specializes in teaching kids entrepreneurship while giving them a chance to apply it and earn from it in their own custom apparel website. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath because I'm out of shape. We, as the T-shirt store, operate from the 6th grade and up. What we want to do is provide opportunities for kids to be encouraged to become leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, and actual agents of change. The problems that we are trying to address, most programs don't give kids an opportunity to enjoy and explore entrepreneurship without putting it into place. Students are rarely given the opportunity to apply and practice and earn a way to express what they're trying to do for the community, what they're trying to do for their families. We want them to have an opportunity to create designs, be able to sell them. Our company will print and ship those items to those customers that are buying, and the kids will make their own 20%. So we want to put people in business, kids in business, people of all colors from the 6th grade and up. And I can bore you with this entire presentation, but for this board, I don't want to do that. Getting to the point, we want to create the next generation of entrepreneurs while finding the next social entrepreneurs for every community of every color, starting from right here.
All right, any questions?
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Brown?
I'm Chris Brown, but I'm not doing any dancing, just so you know.
All right, well, I just want to say that I think that that sounds very interesting. I know that a lot of our children are into drawing and arts and being expressive in that way, so this would be a really good matchup.
And by the way, just so the board knows that we are completely compliant with Common Core standards, but we want to create a math and science, in a sense, but an entrepreneurship and give them a way to apply it. So we are here to give these kids a 30-year head start on us.
All right, thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
and again, this is under the Youth Empowerment Program. The Youth Empowerment Program started with the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority providing I think at this point it's almost $2 million. We also have included community partnerships, which is under Illinois State Board of Education. And just recently, we were awarded the Freedom Schools grant in order to create after-school during programs, Saturday school, and in a 6-week program in the summer that teaches civic mindedness for students of poverty, African-American students in particular.
All right. Is that all for the superintendent's report? We are on to item 2, instruction. Felice Hybert.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I am really excited. I had a shot in the arm today because I was able to spend some time along with Dr. Sims and the high school administrators with some amazing kids and some amazing families. And I think that during the pandemic, we spent a lot of time problem solving, and we don't spend enough time celebrating and really showcasing all of the success and talent that's sitting right in front of you today. And so what I would like to do is I would like to just talk a little bit about these wonderful young adults who have accelerated. And so the students sitting in front of you and many more that weren't able to make it today have demonstrated the skills that they need to be successful in college and career readiness, and have accelerated toward fulfillment of their graduation requirements through advanced coursework, or they have completed some of their portfolios early by achieving high ratings. And we're so excited to celebrate their success. And the community was also excited to celebrate their success. And during our celebration today, we had some raffles that were given away. And I would just like to take a minute to thank these wonderful businesses in the community that gave some raffle prizes. So we have a sports basket from Vince Clark and State Farm, a Dairy Queen gift card from Clove Alliance, coffee and donut basket from the Kankakee Police Department, Riverside Goods from Riverside. We had 3 Target and Dairy Queen baskets from Chris Bolin and Rosemary Pastoris. We had an Old Navy gift card from Project Sun. We had 2 baskets from Gracie Pie Apocryphy. We have AirPods Pro from Jim Rose State's Attorney. We have a Dairy Queen gift card from Barry McCracken at Caldwell Banker, and also Stafari and Dairy Queen gift card from Sarah Powers at Caldwell Banker. So we're amazing. We did raffle off some prizes, and then I'm going to go on Facebook Live tomorrow and raffle off some other prizes to everyone, including those who weren't able to join us today. So without further ado, I would like to respectfully ask Dr. Walters and President Wells to come up, and I'm going to have the kids come up in groups to take a picture, and they can share their medal, and they also got some certificates as well. Yes. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our students with our English Language Arts portfolio. So while they're walking on stage, they're going to come up as a group because we have a lot of students. We had over 150 students to celebrate. So I'm just going to kind of flash their names across as they come up, and then we'll take a picture. Can we give them a round of applause too as they're coming up?
I want to know who got the earbuds.
Congratulations. You can see all these names. I'm still scrolling. Okay.
Where's Sam?
Math portfolio. That was a lot of names. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure everyone got their fair shot. Our math portfolio. So if our math portfolio kids can come up, and again, I'll flash the names as they come up, and let's give them a round of applause.
Hey. Hey, hey.
The kids also gave me an idea to make sure I gave away a medal for each portfolio. So next time, they'll have more than one medal.
How come we didn't talk about that in closed session?
Because she doesn't want me to be present when she talks about it.
And next we have our students in their science portfolio.
Aren't you going to be here?
Woohoo, round of applause.
Talking about it?
I may have something to say, too. I may have something to say, too. Just saying.
I'm torn.
I-
That's all right.
I'm torn, too. You don't think I am, but I...
Wait a minute, one more,
One more.
one more. Coming back.
All right, congratulations. And then I was joking when I said that in the olden days, when I went to school, it was called social studies. Now it's social science. So we have our social science portfolio. Come on up.
Yeah, what you call one of the parents did that.
Yeah, it was Luke Shepherd.
Yeah.
He came by my
All right. We do have some students that will come up multiple times because we have some students that have actually accelerated in more than one portfolio. So we have our students that have accelerated in both their math and their science portfolio. They're coming. All right. Okay, and then we have some students that have accelerated in their, both their ELA, their English Language Arts portfolio, and their social science portfolio. So you can come up and take a picture again.
We'll peep through here.
Okay. And we also have some students who have accelerated in 3 portfolios, their English Language Arts portfolio, their math portfolio, and their science portfolio.
All right.
So thank you very much for everyone. I'm really excited. I think I'm most proud of the students that were able to come up to me and ask me questions and to really advocate for their portfolio. And so I have some follow-up emails for them. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for them and their families. I told them that they could leave after they had been celebrated, so we'll give them a minute to leave. They had a busy day today. Thank you. Oh, Elijah didn't come up. Elijah, did you come up?
Yeah,
Oh, he did? Okay. No, you what? He looked like
my
he was-
nephew?
Yeah, he was like, I thought maybe I missed him. Okay. I just want to make sure.
All right. Well, congratulations to all the students. We're very proud of you. We're very happy and hopeful for your families.
Absolutely. While they're leaving, I'm going to have our pre-K through 6th grade administrators come up, please. I want to talk a little bit about our operations manual.
Good evening, Board of Education and community and staff members. Tonight, we just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of the conversations that we've been having this summer regarding our goals. And we have included our staff members and our school improvement team members as we've set these goals for ourselves. I want to introduce the people behind me first. We've worked really hard as a team this summer. So, sorry, excuse me. On the end here, we have Dr. Dawn Hill. Next to her, we have Miss Pamela Powell, Dr. Karen Burns. Behind Dr. Burns is Cale Kuster, and on the end here is Adrian West. So we worked on an accountability plan, and most of our accountability plan has been surrounded by the profile of a graduate. So thinking about the goals that we set for our students and through the junior high and then through the middle school and then on to our elementary students. So each of our SLT teams work together to collaborate, and then we as a team communicated our information together and then worked on next steps to set those accountability plans. So our first goal is to increase student attendance percentage. For most of the K-6 buildings, we have between 85 and 93%, so we want to make sure that we have at least 95% or higher as we progress through this next school year. And then below that, you'll see our procedures. We'll have 3 contacts prior to reaching out to ICANN with a letter and phone call home, as well as a home visit and a certified letter. Then we'll follow up with truancy, and then communicate those interventions as we move through that as well. Teachers will also demonstrate to the parents the importance of being in school. We've asked our teachers to start sharing each quarter or each time they switch into a new unit, the information that'll be covered through that, so parents are aware of what will be covered in the curriculum during that time period, so that parents understand all the things that we're covering during that time. Also, teachers will encourage parents to send their kids to school every day, as well as contacting and reaching out to parents when a student is not there that day. And then our expectations for the students are to attend school every day and to complete their assignments. Goal number 2 is to increase the percentage of classroom teachers with high expectations for mastery of grade level content from that 33% that we saw in that TNT report that was presented to us last week. We know that that 33% was for district-wide, but we also know that we have a lot of work to do pre-K through 6, and so we wanted to make sure that was a priority for us. So as a building level administrators, we're going to monitor that teaching and learning and provide the PD that's necessary. We're also going to provide feedback through that protocol that we were given, provide PD on the assessment tool, making sure that teachers understand the why, and then also helping them understand what things we can work through together. We're also going to provide that ongoing training through the district vision, as well as all of the curriculum, provide the support and experiences needed, as well as create those clear expectations. The teachers will provide and receive that feedback through the grade level collaborative teamwork and utilize provided curriculum resources, hold high and rigorous expectations for all of our students, participate in that professional development, participate in peer observation using those protocols, and ensure that all students receive grade level assignments. And our students will receive that high level instruction at their appropriate grade level, hold themselves accountable for participating in rigorous instruction, and complete those grade level assignments. Next, we wanted to address our school uniforms. So here we've added some pictures of our kiddos wearing their uniforms. And so we wanted to put some procedures in place to make sure that we're following that plan with fidelity. So these are the guidelines that we've sent to all of our parents with the expectations. So we'll be monitoring that daily, as well as having some guardian contact and providing uniform assistance as needed. Any questions from the board? Dr. Walters?
Does the board have any questions? Deb? I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson?
I know that we've laxed our uniform policy to T-shirts and anything with K's spirit wear. Is that still okay?
Yes. I don't know if you can see the little, right here, there's a little box.
I didn't see the little.
That's okay. It's a little teeny, but it does say students can wear spirit wear T-shirts or hoodies instead of the polos if they prefer, but they must still be in uniform bottoms.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We also stated that every Friday for the K-6 buildings will be jeans and spirit wear.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay.
We do want to introduce a lot of our teachers, especially from, well, all of our buildings have teachers attending the professional learning communities in Minnesota this week, which we're super excited about to get that going with our teachers. So many of our teams are involved in that training this week, but we do have a lovely teacher from King. Rachel Jordan. Thank you, Rachel, for representing all of our SLTs tonight. Oh, yes. Miss Daniels, would you like to stand from Mark Twain? Miss Diaz and Miss McMillan. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and we know that from sun to sun, a teacher's work is never done. So thank you for doing this work and getting ready for your teachers.
And all of this work with our SLT will end up with the operational manual for each building. And now I would like to introduce our junior high and our high school administrators, and they're going to talk through the work that they've been doing this summer with their SLT.
Good evening, Dr. Walters, Board President Wells, and Board of Education. I am Dr. Vernita Sims. I'm not the president, the principal of Kankakee High School. I'd like to introduce my team. I have Mr. Calvin Works, who's our freshman. He's back here hiding. Who's our freshman administrator. I have Mr. Steve Chorak, who's our sophomore administrator. Ms. Bonita Arsenault Anderson, who's our junior administrator, and Ms. Miriam Hill, who is our senior administrator, and Ms. Pam Safor, who's our director of secondary education.
Good evening, Board of Education. I am Principal Stephanie Morgan Harris, the principal of Kankakee Junior High School, and I have with me tonight my seventh grade assistant principal, Nakisha Lee. Mr. Joseph Davies is at home with his sick baby, and so we are sending him good wishes tonight.
I feel remiss that I left out the infamous Mr. George Harris, who is the principal of Independence Academy.
No, can I clarify that the Director of Secondary Education, Pam Safor, is in charge of all of us?
Yes, she is. She's just housed at the high school.
Yes, she's just housed at the high school. So the Director of Secondary Ed is in charge of making sure that there is kind of a system of moving from sixth grade to post-secondary opportunities. And so she'll be looking at those systems that the middle school, the junior high, and the high school shares.
And so as I've introduced our team that you have already met, I'll move forward. So our first goal is to increase attendance by 16% or more in each one of the grade levels at the end of 2022-23 school year. Currently, as our data reports from Schoolzilla, we currently sit at 79.5%. And so I want to discuss the how, the why, the how, and the who for each one of our goals. So the why is to increase student engagement and expose students to high-quality, rigorous instruction. So how will we do this? We will have weekly attendance reports. We will have a tiered attendance support. We will provide interventions and incentives, and also through our weekly triangle meetings. Who will be responsible? Our grade level secretaries, our grade level admin, our SEL coaches, and our counselors. Our goal number 2 is to improve the overall work completion and increase teacher ratings to 80% completion by the end of 2023 school year, 22-23 school year. The why, we will start with baseline data. So what we're going to do as an administrative team is we're going to do collaborations in classrooms and collect baseline data from September 1st to October 1st. We will come back to meet together as a team to observe trends and then focus based on the trends that we see, put in those interventions. How will we do this? Every Wednesday at the high school, and will be implemented through some structure at the junior high. We'll have working Wednesdays, in which students will have an opportunity to have work completion on Wednesdays. We will have tiered teacher support, just as well as we have tiered attendance support. We will have our weekly meetings with admin by content. So each administrator has been assigned a particular content that they will oversee and meet with those teachers on a weekly basis. We will have continuous student and parent support, continuous teacher support, as well as our tutoring resources that we have available both virtual and in person. This includes, but not limited to, Saturday School, Twilight, Paper Tutor, Case Connect, which is formerly our UP Squad. Who will be responsible? We will also involve our content specialists or department leads, our grade level admin, our ILT, and our SLT teams.
Goal number 3
Teachers.
is to increase the quality of grade level assignments
Increase it by 80.
in ELA and mathematics to 100% by the end of the school year 2022-23 school year. The why is to increase students' college and career readiness skills, to increase student reading, math proficiencies, and to increase access to high-quality, rigorous instruction. How will we do this? We'll do this through weekly classroom walkthroughs with quality feedback, weekly assignment collections, and we'll use LSW protocols and looking at student work. Who will be responsible for this? Our ILTs and our admin teams. So our vision for 2022-23 school year school uniforms is similar to K-6. We believe the uniform policy to be an important aspect of KSD 111's mission and asks our students to adhere to these policies. We will treat uniform infractions with the appropriate responses. We also understand that there are unique circumstances with some students, and we'll deal with those situations on a case-by-case scenario. We do understand the importance of providing consistency with any type of infraction when it comes down to uniforms, so we want to ensure that our students understand that they are to follow the dress code policy at all times. Our accountability plan. So goal number 1, to ensure that all teachers are providing instruction in a way that challenges and engages 100% of all students by the end of school year 2022-23 school year. Why? To communicate clear expectations for and build real urgency around the kind of improvements necessary to get all children, rather than just some, on a trajectory to be ready for college and career. How will we do this? With weekly triangle team meetings, monthly ILT meetings, weekly after-school PDs, and we will also monitor the plan and hold staff and administration accountable to ensure academic success amongst students. Now, the process in which we'll do this is during quarter 1 of the school year, we will set clear expectations and clarify what is expected of all staff members. Quarter 2, we will support, whether through professional development or tier structure, to support everyone with compliance with the expectations. Quarter 3, we will hold people accountable, and quarter 4, that's when we will start with letters of redirection. Who will be responsible for this? Students receiving the resources and support to ensure their academic success. Goal number 2, competency-based education.
So with our CBE, we want to ensure that every student has an equal opportunity to master necessary skills and to become successful adults. And so we understand that with CBE, that it allows students to be prepared both challenging and for the future, empower students with the knowledge and skills in various fields, and to have a flexible study time educational program that's tailored for every student. How will we do this? Staff will provide students with multiple opportunities at reaching mastery toward the competency. That is an expectation in the building. Who will be responsible? The students are able to reach mastery at their own pace at specific time, with specific time-specific deadlines. When we're talking about student discipline expectation, of course, the goal is to create and maintain a safe, orderly, and positive learning environment, which often requires the use of discipline to correct inappropriate behavior. We also want to make sure that we are teaching students the opportunities to exercise self-control and make appropriate decisions. So no, we will be not throwing the book at students on a first offense. We would definitely meet with students and determine the why behind it. How will we do this? Of course, through MTSS, both behavior and academically, because they do go hand in hand. Our SEO coaches, our CHAMPs, PBIS, small and individual groups, goal setting with counselors, and our CICO, who students will be receiving the resources and support their social emotional learning. Any questions?
All right. Does the board have any questions for the administrators?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment
Go ahead.
that these presentations were great. And I just hope that this school year that we are really going to be true to what we're saying on paper. Because we can say this on paper, but if we're not actually doing it, it's just saying it on paper. So all of these things that you all have in place, I think is great. I think it can work, but we need to make sure we are holding people accountable for making sure that they're doing these processes for our students. It's what's best for our students. So again, I want to say, please be true to what we're saying on paper.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have anything? No.
Just an acronym. What's CHAMPS?
It is a positive behavior intervention that is used at the high school level, so it really goes through teaching expectations, both in common areas as well inside the classroom. So for example, they provide strategies on how to get a teacher's attention. When a teacher, for another example, if a teacher is having a classroom debate, so how to debate appropriately, how to provide positive incentives to students. So instead of, normally we would say, good job to a student. So being really more intentional and specific about what the good job means.
So what does CHAMPS, C-H-A-M-P-S, stand for?
It
Doesn't stand for anything?
Yes,
Oh, it does.
go ahead.
C stands for conversation, your conversational tones. H stands for helps, which is how do I ask for helps. A stands for the activity, which specifically spells out the activity that the students is doing in that opportunity, in that moment. M stands for movement. Am I allowed to move or not move during that opportunity? P stands for participation. How do they properly participate in the activity during that time? And if they do all of those correctly, then S stands for success, which is at 100%.
I figured out the S.
Right. Give you a hand. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyone else? No, thank you very much. It sounds like this is something that I learned this weekend. This communication piece that you're doing is really important, and I'll be talking more about communication in my president's report. But thank you for communicating this to the board. Continue to communicate this to our families and our students, and let's hold the line on accountability and seek that success that we all want.
Absolutely, thank you. I have one more thing. It's the beginning of the school year, and I'm so excited. Everything is new. But I'm going to send you this wonderful video. We had our amazing kindergarten teacher, Michelle Kropp, and also a community volunteer, Mr. McManus. And they did forest school this summer. And so we talk a lot about, our kids are missing that play and being outdoors and getting outside into the park and doing some things with nature. And they spent a lot of time this summer doing some wonderful activities for our students. And they created this great video. I'm going to share it with Rachel so that you can watch it at your leisure. But I did want to just show you the very last part of this video, if I can.
Good evening, board. Our names are Dave McManus and Michelle Kropp. First, we want to thank you for giving us.
I'm going to try to go right here. They have a great video. They had a lot of different books, but they have a great video, just a real quick.
Forward to what the future holds. We leave you with a short video of our experiences.
Called Forest School.
Stay curious, young one. There is magic in the forest, hidden wonders awaiting your discovery. Stay captivated, my child. Your heart's home is in one of wonder and delight. Stay wild, my love. You are the sweet song of the robin. You are the leaf dancing in the wind. Stay precious, my dear. You are the rocks full of stories of love and light, the grass whistling with the wind. Stay beautiful, my darling, with your passion for the sun and conversations with the squirrels. Stay magnificent, my little one. Always see the beauty in the earth. Play hide and seek with the evergreens and sycamores. Stay magically in love, my sweetheart, with the forest and all its treasures, for the forest is in love with you too.
So again, I just wanted to thank you for your support and to thank Michelle Kropp and Mr. McManus for having such a wonderful summer experience for our kids. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Ms. Hybert? There are no questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Looking forward to a great school year.
Okay. I'm sorry, my computer. All right, we're on to item 3, operations and, Operation Instruction Manual by grade band and student expectation.
We just did that.
We just went through that? Okay. Item 4, finance.
I'm just going over the tentative budget quickly. In front of you, you have the tentative budget, or you should have it in your packets. We will present the final budget sometime in probably September or October. I'll get you the exact dates. If you look at the tentative budget, it does include the possibility of the approval of the community center. So if you approve the community center tonight, we would have an end fund balance of $22.9 million with the community center if it is approved. The person that is helping to create the budget is on his honeymoon, and he will be back in a couple of weeks to answer any specific questions.
Okay. And we're on to item 5, personnel. Shamika Fountain.
Good evening, Dr. Walters, Board of Education. I just wanted to share a couple of things from personnel. I do want to talk about our first registration. Currently, our registration has been open for quite some time, and we continue to encourage all of our parents to register for school, which starts within the next 2 weeks. We have also been giving out gift cards every Friday. We've been doing a raffle and a drawing for those families that have registered, and they are posted on our district website and our Facebook page. So we're asking our parents, if you have not registered, please do so. We just had activity, Pack the Park on last week, also to encourage registration. Right now, we have a total of about 2,100 students who have completely finished registration. We have about 2,000 families who have started registration but have not completed it. So we're asking that you please complete that as soon as possible. And then we have 286 students families who have not registered at all. So again, to adequately prepare for the beginning of the school year, we're asking all parents and families to please register. You can go to any schools in our district to register your child. I also want to talk about our openings in the school district. We do have some openings right now that we are still filling. We have more openings at the junior high and the high school. We have a couple of openings in our middle school and our elementary schools. And so we are still continuing to interview and to hire staff to fill our classrooms. Currently, we have more positions that we need to fill, but we also have interviews already set in place for those positions. Again, so we are actively still seeking out employees for our open school positions and our principals, as our principals are the ones who hire teachers. They are actively interviewing and turning in those recommendations for hire. I do also want to say that we've had a very successful new teacher orientation. We started out on this Friday, and it was actually a really good event, one of the best opening new teacher orientations that we've had. I just want to say that the teachers that we are hiring, they have shown great enthusiasm, on Thursday and also, on Friday and today. They have a couple of more weeks of training, but I was just really impressed and encouraged by the enthusiasm of our new hirees, and we just want them to continue to have that enthusiastic spirit as we go into the school year. We know that some days may be challenging, but we are here to serve our students, and I am really encouraged by the group of new teachers that we have hired for this school year because they are definitely energetic and ready to start our school year. Are there any questions?
The postings don't represent openings.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. So we do have several postings, so if you were to go on the website and you're going to see, oh, there may be 70 openings or 100 openings for the school district. Those numbers are not positions, all positions for teaching. What we do is we keep the postings open or keep them up until September, the second paycheck in September, so that in case there is a last-minute resignation, we have a pool of candidates to pull from, and we're just not posting positions again. And so while we are still hiring, the number on the website does not represent an accurate number of vacancies that we have, plus those vacancies do include the whole district. We have over 1,100 employees in the school district, so those numbers also represent food service workers, clerical, custodial. It also represents stipend positions for activities in athletics and fine arts. So we may have anywhere between 25 and 30 positions that's posted on the website for athletic and for fine arts positions that are usually filled by teachers that already work in the district, and then once school starts, they will apply for those positions. Are there any questions?
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Fountain? No, apparently no questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Fountain. All right. We're on to item E, and number 1 is Board President's Report. I want to share with the board a training that I took on Saturday. It was very enjoyable. The speaker's name was David Horsager, and the name of the training was Trust Edge. And it was about building trust in a group of leaders. And I brought back for you, I asked permission before I gathered them up, a little work project for the board members to do to build your trust shield. So you each got a pen and you got a piece of paper with some fields on it. Even the superintendent has one. Because in order to trust someone, we must know them. And one of the things that we don't have time when we're together as a board, because we are working to hear the administration's problems that they need to solve and approvals that they need. So we're constantly like moving forward, and we don't pause and take time to share with each other things about our background, what our values are, what our life's priorities are, and what we feel our life's mission is, what we feel our strengths are, how we can improve our life goals, and what kind of legacy we want to leave in the community. So I am giving these shields to you and hoping that you will take them home with you and take some time and work on them and bring them back, because we will be meeting to do our equity training on, is that the 31st? The board is meeting to do the equity training with Dr. Fisher, and if we could take a few minutes to then share our trust shields. He also talked about the pillars of trust, and just a moment, I did try to write this down so I could read it. Doing it. time. All right, and,
Next time.
sorry. Okay, where are they? There they are. Clarity. And that clarity comes from communication. And it made me, when we were going through this, when I was going through this training, I thought about something that Chris has said repeatedly about the fact that people don't know what's going on with the school district. And unfortunately for us, we communicate something and we think, okay, we sent an email, maybe we put it on the website, maybe we put it on our Facebook page, people should have it. And because we are immersed in what we're doing, we know what's coming next. But because the people we're communicating to don't actually receive the communication the way we intended, they may not understand what we communicated or why it's important or what action they need to take. So one of the things that the speaker said was that we need to over-communicate. And he said something that I had heard years ago, that a person needs to hear something 8 times before they remember it. So don't ever think that you're communicating too much to your parents or your students. It's okay to repeat yourself. And then the other thing that he said, everything rests upon is consistency. The fact that we have to be consistent. As Ms. Verrett was talking about the presentation that the administrators gave, and we really appreciate that presentation, but we as a board and the community need that consistency. We need to see that what you wrote on paper is what's delivered to our students when they enter the building, how they're treated, and how the expectations are delivered to them, so that when you find them in violation of the expectation, because you have over-communicated, you can be more certain that they understand why what they did is a violation. If you have not over-communicated it and made sure that they have a full understanding, then it seems like it's out of the blue. It doesn't feel consistent. So I found that this was a very good training. I did have Rachel send out this email invite that I got from the Illinois School Board, hoping that you all might have the time to take it, but you didn't, because Mary Archie was running a back-to-school fair with Hippocrates, which was very successful this past Saturday. They gave physicals to people in the community and book bags and book supplies, school supplies. So each of us, are working in our own way, trying to make our school district more successful. So please, I hope that you will do your trust shields and bring those with you on the 31st so that we can share with each other. I also had a meeting today with the state superintendent of schools and the president of the Illinois School Board Association by Zoom, and there were some very interesting things that came out of that. While this district has had a waiver for a number of years for WISE as teacher certifications. Licensures, yes. Licensing, and they are now kind of moving that statewide. So to find out more, you need to go to the ISB website and look under school district leadership on the isb.net. They have some short-term approvals that are going to be coming out to help with the teacher shortage, with people who have yet to obtain their license to teach. So that was a very interesting conversation that I just had this afternoon with the state superintendent and the president of Illinois School Board Association. Additionally, the state is also putting a grant out where there's a dollar-for-dollar match on school safety, so that's something new that's coming out. And there's also a capital survey that's coming out for schools and their capital needs. So I learned all of that this afternoon, and I want to share that with you all. And so now, we'll move on to the other item under board reports, which is the finance meeting, and this is for Chair Jess Gavin.
We had a finance meeting on the 28th. We hadn't had one in a while for a number of reasons. But some of the things we discussed was we had a marketplace presentation. The guy came in and did a real nice presentation. We talked about the possibility of the sale of our Roma Park building, the ending fund balance, which is out there now, our budget timeline, which is now coming up here in September. We talked about the community center, which we will be voting on shortly here, and we also talked about the tennis courts and the conditions that they are in, and what we're going to be doing going forward to get that remedied. And for now, that's about it for what we discussed. Dr. Walters somewhat kind of mentioned our budget timeline and whatnot, and we'll have our consultant back within the next couple of weeks to help us with the finance department. That's it.
All right.
Any questions?
Thank you, Board Member Gavin. All right, we're on to item F, public comments. We have several people. If you'll start to move over to the stage right, and I'll call your name. In the meantime, I will read our public comment standards. The president will recognize members of the audience who wish to make comments to the board regarding any topics related to school district business. The board will take all comments under advisement without discussion, which means the board will not respond tonight. If a member of the public raises an issue or concern that requires follow-up, the board president or superintendent will do so in a timely manner. Please give your name, direct your comments to the president. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. All individuals are to conduct themselves with civility and respect toward others. Michelle Creasy.
Good evening. I am here on behalf of a parent, and I'm going to read a letter that they wrote. I did not want to personally speak at the board meeting. I know that Ms. Creasy advocates for children who have disabilities or struggle. So I asked her to present this letter because I think it is important for the board to hear how, other children who struggle in school are experiencing high school. My son experienced severe trauma in elementary school and struggled with school for a very long time. He had severe anxiety, and I really worried what he would do after high school. During the pandemic, he had a really good year at the high school because he had really good teachers who supported him. The first quarter during the pandemic, he struggled the most, but with these teachers' help, he was able to push through his anxiety and ended the year with good grades. I was shocked at how well he did. Last year started as a complete disaster for him. With the chaos caused by the schedule, the high school stayed in chaos from the student perspective. I just couldn't figure out what he needed to do. But this summer, again, he had amazing teachers who helped him sort everything out and get back on track. Among these amazing teachers is Miss McManus. She goes above and beyond for all of her students. Miss McManus sees the strength in students when other teachers only see a troubled kid. I want to personally thank Miss McManus for what she has done for my son and other students in Kankakee who may not be great students but have so much potential. Miss McManus takes the time to see the potential in her students and help them grow. I heard she left for a while, but I am glad that she came back and hope that she stays until she retires. I don't think Ms. McManus will be at this board meeting, but I want to leave these flowers here at the high school for her as a thank you for what she has done for my son. That is all.
We will see that she gets them. Thank you. Amanda Parcham.
Thank you. My name is Amanda Parcham, and I'm here for my amazing son, Mason. I'm glad you brought up communication because that's why I'm here tonight. I only have 5 minutes to explain 8 years of the importance of Julie Jackson in Mason's life. Miss Jackson, a 30-year employee of this district, has been Mason's one-on-one aide since pre-K. He's going to the junior high this year. Mason is non-mobile, non-verbal, and complex child. Miss Jackson takes her role with Mason. She attends all his school therapy sessions, and she knows how to bring out the best in his education in the classroom and so much more. Miss Jackson has spent countless hours helping adapting Mason's education in the classroom and putting into motion the advice of all the therapists. Mason is accustomed to Miss Jackson and how she takes care of him. There are also specific concerns about the fact they want to remove Miss Jackson from Mason now. All the therapy and training that translate into the classroom will be lost. The safety risk of having someone new, the lack of solid training with school starting shortly. We already had his IEP in May, which I was already told she would be continuing on with him. So now we are here 2 weeks before school starts. That is not enough time to adequately train staff. The previous 2 special education directors in Kankakee made no attempt to change Mason's aides simply because they knew with confidence that he was well taken care of with Miss Jackson, and that was not something they should focus on or even needed to change. The new director came last year and attempted to change Mason's aide placement right away because she felt there was a perceived safety concern. At no point in time was Mason ever unsafe or in danger. We have no idea where the unwarranted claim came from. Thankfully, the plan fell apart, and I was told Ms. Jackson would stay with Mason and follow him to the junior high. Since then, I have been given nothing but broken words. The most recent attempt to change Mason's aide placement was not even discussed with me. I had to hear it from outside sources. I reached out to Ms. Griffin immediately by voicemail and email, and still not one word. Not one response, no communication even after 4 days. I realize these changes are legal and do not require my permission, but the fact that decisions about my child are made without any courtesy discussion just goes to show what type of person made that decision. They have no concern for Mason's education and well-being. It is not Mason's fault that appropriate staff is not in place. He shouldn't pay the ultimate price. Julie is an important cog in Mason's care plan. Therefore, my son Mason and I and my husband ask that you please allow his one-on-one pair to stay with him throughout his educational career as long as she remains willing and able. Thank you. And I do have some visuals just to show how important. Look at that look, he's looking at her. All the adaptations throughout the years. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Jackson.
Shit, it's standing right over there. I looked in the wrong place.
Hi, I'm Julie. And I'm just going to read the letter. The union requires me to write a letter, and so I'm going to read my letter. I started in this district in 1990, and all three of my kids went through here and graduated. This letter is in response to the involuntary transfer from my former student, which I have been working with for the last 8 years. Neither parents or the student nor I are happy with this decision. This transfer will create a hardship for not only me, but the family as well. This student is nonverbal and has a higher level of medical needs that I have become comfortable and accustomed to handling every day. Due to the fact that I have followed this student for so long, I am able to pick up on his specific cues and proactively know when something is wrong. I have learned his strengths and his means of communication, and therefore have been critical in helping him academically succeed. Part of my responsibility was accompanying him on the bus ride to and from school, which provided me with extra income that I rely on to live. The family is also disappointed because I was able to stay with the student after getting off the bus until the family returned from work. I would appreciate your reconsideration of this decision to remove me from this student, as it is in the best interest for everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew Case. Matthew Case.
My name is Matthew Case. I am 13 years old. I am an incoming freshman at the Kankakee High School, and I am deeply concerned about the decisions this district is making. I do not think that this district is prioritizing students' educations anymore. In fact, I'm not sure what this district is prioritizing anymore. I believe that the actions this district is making come with good intentions. You want to give us students all the opportunities that we can get. Unique classes that other schools don't have, ways to give students new and different information, a huge variety of courses we can choose from to learn what we think we need to succeed in life. This is not what is actually happening. In my perspective, this district is stretching itself so thin with programs and opportunities and praising things like athletic success without providing the most basic academic support to its students. According to the 2021 Illinois report card data, only 13.8% of KSD students are meeting English and language arts performance goals. For math, it's less than 1%. Everything is just going to crumble because we do not yet have a clear foundation with strong basic classes to build new things off of. This is what our school needs to become a stable environment. I recently got my schedule. Out of 7 classes, at least 4 of the teachers listed are no longer working at this district. These issues are negatively impacting every single student in this district, and it is being pinned under the label of teacher shortage, when in reality they're not quitting being teachers, they're just going to other districts. I cannot count on having the same teachers that my brothers, who are 1 year ahead of me, had. I cannot count on having the same principal that my brothers, who are 1 year ahead of me, had. I do not feel like I have someone to go to with these concerns because leadership is constantly changing. I never know if I'm going to have a qualified adult to teach me or a random substitute who is unqualified to teach this position that they have been shoved into. Or maybe me and hundreds of other students are going to sit in the auditorium for half the day, expected to quietly work on our Chromebooks with no guidance or support. This scenario was my experience at the junior high last year. I do not believe that a multi-million-dollar field house is where this district needs to be putting its money when it has so many other issues it needs to address. I know our athletic teams are doing phenomenal, but they're doing phenomenal with the resources that they already have now. Yes, let's continue supporting them. Yes, let's be proud of them. No, let's not spend millions of dollars on an athletic facility and try to use this one good thing coming out of Kankakee school districts to cover up everything else that isn't going so well. Instead of spending millions of dollars on a building that is not needed, the district could use that money to solve our academic dilemmas and bring qualified teachers to our schools to give us students the education that we deserve. I know that the district wants its students to succeed, so I ask you to take a hard look at the decisions you are making and see if they truly benefit the students of this community. Thank you.
Brenda Alexander.
Good evening, board. My son is Xavier Alexander, and he was choked February 9th by his social worker. I recently found out that during that time, the investigation wasn't able to be completed because an individual encouraged him to quit. This same individual provided a reference for this man who now works at Herscher, and that individual is the attorney for Herscher School District. I am not going to stop fighting for Xavier's justice. I am requesting a copy of the incident report and all supporting witness statements so that I can forward them to my attorney. I need for y'all to understand, I'm not giving up. And I'm livid. I am absolutely livid. I'm not going to stop until Xavier gets his justice, and I need you to understand that.
James Hill.
Hello to everyone. Thank the board for allowing me to speak. My name is James Hill. I have a son, soon to be senior. I'm going to school here at the Kankakee High School. I have several family members, friends, associates to go to school and work here also. I'm here on behalf of the community and pertaining to the field house. I engage with the kids on the ground level. In school, outside the school, I come up here to see my son. I see several kids. Mostly all of them know me. Every single day, I get the kids helpful feedback. Out there in the community, I get the kids helpful feedback and encouragement every time I see them. I see kids all times of night. I ask them, what y'all doing out? Y'all go home. They like, man, it's bored. We ain't got nothing to do. It's easy for people to sit back and say the kids are this or the kids are that. But in my opinion, if you're a leader in the community through being voted in, through hired in, we supposed to build from the ground up. The kids, when I was a kid, we had the armory, and it had several rooms where we can do workshops and a variety of different other things up in there. The kids have nowhere to go, and there's no excuse for that, being a leader in the community. No matter how you look at it, it's easy to point the finger at other people and be like, it's not my kid or whatever the case may be. But if you're in a leadership position, what this says about your legacy? Decisions need to be made. In my opinion, from my experience, when I was young, I was incarcerated. I was one of the ones, I was out in the streets and all that type of stuff. Sooner or later, they shut down the armory. I didn't have no way to go congregate amongst my peers as kids and interact or get no more workshops. The kids have absolutely nowhere to go. If a lawyer, doctor, regular worker moved to Kankakee and asks, where can my teenage kids to go to socialize amongst their peers, everybody's gonna say nowhere, or we point to a different community. It's up to us to do our best to be our best. It got the potential to have workshops, extra tutoring for kids, and we have a lot of leaders in the community. They can't be as informative as they can, and also they can't hold workshops because it's a limit on the facilities. This facility can be a great benefit for the community. It's not about the adults, it's all about the kids because they're gonna be here tomorrow when adults are gone. And I think it can be a great benefit. I don't know how many people engage with all the kids on a day-to-day level, but I really do. And can't nobody tell me, can't nobody tell about the situation better than me, no matter how you look at it. I know crime happens, kids do this and that, but we can't expect all parents to be good parents. Simple as that. It's a lot of parents, they not that good. And I'm not saying the onus is 100% on one or two individuals, but we all got to do our part how we can. Furthermore, I'm a professional barber. I have 2 kids that came through my chair in back-to-back years. The first one had a 4.3 point GPA, had a full scholarship ride to Georgia Tech, room and board, everything paid for. Now, his first goal was to work for NASA, but he chose a different company in Seattle, Washington. Full scholarship, graduate of Kankakee High School. His brother came through a year later, had a full scholarship to Illinois. My son was struggling with his education in his school. Understandably so, doing a lot of, wasn't 100% engaged. But I looked in the mirror and I said I wasn't 100% engaged. So the minute I started touching elbows with the school teachers, administrators, and getting on top of my job, because I was slacking at first, honestly speaking, the minute I started meeting with the teachers, the social workers, administrators, we got on top of it and we reversed this course. I was engaged on a day-to-day basis every single day, and he gradually got better and better and better. Sometimes we got to do our best to be our best as adults. Every situation is not going to be perfect, and every kid won't be perfect, but some kids need to be pushed. The onus is not 100% on the school and the staff. It starts at home. Simple as that. If a kid get homeschooled, it's up to the parents to get the kids ready to take tests, learn etiquette, respect, understanding, responsibility. And overall, it's not about 1 or 2 people. Sometimes a teacher, administrator, they might have a bad day and might not have their best teaching day, because everybody go through something. And the way the world's set up right now, all types of stuff happen around the world. Social media shows us all type of stuff. But at the basis of this, we got to have some understanding and compassion for these kids. Hey, I'm still rolling for about another 30 seconds. But no, seriously though,
have 30 seconds.
but seriously though, we got to support these kids. And I give y'all my utmost respect, and I appreciate y'all allowing me to speak. But like I said, in 20, 30 years, we might not be here, but the kids will. So have some compassion in your heart. Thank you all.
No chance in hell.
Carson King.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everyone. So I'm here on behalf of students, just speaking about the bashing on Facebook and everything. Like, us as students, as teens, there's no reason we should be seeing that. If you have a problem, come to the school about it. Talk to an admin or attempt to talk to an admin. Everybody there's no need for me to speak to you, but why speak out about the problem? Like, it makes no sense. And then the fact of, we're seeing it on social media too, on our social platforms. People are, oh yeah, don't go to Kankakee, this, and that is driving people who grew up here away from us. So, and then on behalf of the community center, I've grown up in Kankakee my whole life. Some people that I've been close with, played sports with, have sadly died. We have nothing to do in the community. Nobody wants to go to the parks anymore. Nobody wants to just play outside, it's not safe. So therefore, the community center, I feel like, will really help. And also with me, I'm an incoming senior, so I can come home next year, possibly have a place to work. Just, it provides extra opportunities, and just, it'll be good for the community. But that's all I have to say. I didn't take long. I'm sorry. Appreciate you guys letting me speak, though.
Thank you. Sam Jordan.
Good evening, Board of Education, community members, all that's here. I pretty much come tonight as a father, my son up there, my wife. I'm a long-term resident of Kankakee, Illinois, born and raised on the south side. I'm finally at an age where now I can say I remember back when. I grew up on the south side, so way back when, the Kankakee School District was actually the first one to have any type of recreation facilities in the city. In fact, the field right behind Montessori was where everyone that grew up on the south side of south side of Kankakee, went to. There was a track there. There was a big field. So every day, right, in the summer, we would go there. We would play football. We would play soccer, kickball. They had a small piece of playground equipment, and we would swing on the swings. We would walk down the street to Dairy Queen. We would go to the Citgo gas station. And during that time, as the day got later, that's when you would see parents coming out. You would see the parents come out, and they would walk the track. If you look up the word recreation is defined as doing an activity when you're not working. You're doing an activity for enjoyment when you're not working. So a lot of times, a lot of problems exist because, like Carson just said, like Mr. Hill just said, and the list goes on and on. You're not doing anything recreational. You're always focused on work. You're always focused on learning, whatever the case is, which is fine. But in time, you need to have some time to just recreationally be free to do something different, to engage with people that you may not engage with on a regular basis. So with that being said, with the concept of the field house coming, it's a great opportunity because when I went to Millikan University as a student, they had a shared facility with the college and the community. So I came in as a student. Our weight room was housed there. But once I graduated, I ended up working there as the recreation director. And with that being said, when I was there, it was groups like the Kiwanis group that hosted the middle school basketball league. In the evenings, you would see the dean of students that they're walking. You would see the president of the college. You would see police officers, firemen, and the list goes on and on. And when you're talking about bettering a community, the best way to better a community is to see people outside of work. All right, that way you can have outside of work engagements. So I just come speaking again as a father to my son. We ride our bikes all throughout Kankakee. We play at every park. But when the winter months come, my wife gets kind of mad because we messing up her living room. And it would be so much helpful if we could have a place to go play basketball. If it could be a place where kids that run track and cross country would be able to train indoors during the winter months. And even things from hosting sporting events, birthday parties, the list goes on and on. I don't know the criteria of what's going to be all housed there, but again, I remember back when I was a kid, I was excited to wake up that next day to go to Montessori and see who I was going to meet that day, see what activities I was going to do, and I can't wait till my son can tell me the same stories. When he gets on his bike, he rides up here to the field house, he makes a big three-point shot on the court. Then he comes back later on. He may play volleyball. So I hope that the board would take that into consideration and be empathetic about everything that could be impacted when this thing comes into existence. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now on to item G, action items. We need to make an adjustment to our agenda. There is an item 11, which there is no attachment, salary adjustment. Okay, so can I have a motion to remove item 11 from the agenda?
So move. Second.
All right, moved by Gathering, seconded by Williams. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Archie,
Yes.
Bolin,
This is on the consent agenda, not action items, correct?
I'm sorry, it says consent agenda action items, item G,
Thank you.
number 11.
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes, so number 11 has been removed from the consent agenda, and now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Moved by Gathering, second.
Second.
Second by Archie.
I heard you.
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Bolin,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Archie,
I don't
Yes.
exist.
Wells,
Yes, and the motion carries. We're on to item H, action items, approval of construction bid for community center.
So move.
Moved by Gathering, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Williams. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Gathing?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Jess Gathing, and I'm a member of this board, and I was elected. This is my ninth year. And my story for Kankakee is simple. I was born and raised here. I went to school here. My children went to school here. Do I know the district? Yes, I know the district pretty well. Where did my story start? My story started some 26 or 27 years ago when I was elected as an alderman. I did 8 years as an alderman, and I did 8 years as a park commissioner, and I'm now in my ninth year of being on the board. What have I learned? I've learned a lot in my political career. My political career started as an alderman, and somewhere one night of driving, I got a call, and that call I got was from the Lord to be a minister. And I became a minister, licensed minister in 1997. Upon being called, the night that I was called, I was coming by Woodfield Mall, and I cried all the way back home to Kankakee. And if you know where Woodfield Mall is on 290 back to Kankakee, I cried. And I wondered, Lord, what is it that you would have me to do? Well, I'm a youth minister. That and the things that I was doing in my life is some of the things that I'm doing now. And when God called me, I was a youth minister. And as the youth minister, there was a calling, and God said to me upon going to the school district, and when He told me to go to the school district and become a board member, I asked the Lord why, and He says, because I want you to go and I want you to make a difference. Have I made a difference? Have I been there to make a difference? Yes. And I can say that only because I was sent by God. I've wrestled with coming out and saying this to an audience, but God gave me words to tell the people when I was running. He said, I want you to put on the bottom of your literature, on the bottom of your sign, leadership that you can trust. And there's people in our community who question that. I even myself questioned it. But all knowing that what God wanted me to do was come in and make a difference in the school board, it started upon being elected. And what we did, I took my experience and the experience that I had from being an alderman, being a park commissioner, and brought that to the school district with things that you could do. One of the first things that we did, and my stripe on the beach ball, I came through athletics. I have an athletic background, and I know athletics real well. But those are some of the things that I did, but my stripe was athletics. And what we did when I first was elected school board, we came in our athletic department, we didn't have good coaches, we didn't have good facilities, we didn't have a lot. And so we sat down with a group of us and we came up with some things, and we didn't have very much money to do anything with. And using my experience, we borrowed, I think, $250,000 with 17 sports and asked the head coaches, what is it that you needed on your wish list that you can do? How can a football team be a football team without a 5-man sled? Down at Beckman Park for Eastside, we had 2 of them. The high school had none. And so one of the first things we did, we sat down with the finance lady and said, hey, what can we do well, where can you find the money that that the district can go out and buy a 5-man sled, and they did. That was the way to do it. The following year, we borrowed the $250,000 so each and every sport can go and get the things that they needed on their wish list or whatever it was to be successful. Some people make a big deal about, I mean, sports being bigger than academics. Sports is a part of our academics here at the high school, and it's something that's needed, and it's something that works. The academic and sports, they work well together, and we have been successful. We had a plan. We had a plan when we started years and years ago, and I can tell you this because I grew up here. Years and years ago, when they hired a teacher, they also might have hired a track coach because in order to be a teacher, you had to be that track coach which knew nothing about the sports. And that's, my brothers and sisters, that was a little backwards back then, but that's how it was done. And you're teaching kids, how are you now successful in a program and you don't even know what you're doing? And following that up, we hired Dr. Walters. Dr. Walters came in, and believe it or not, my brothers and sisters, Dr. Walters was a part of God's plan for District 111. Has it been all roses? No, it hasn't been all roses. But when Dr. Walters came in and she teamed up with her team, she brought in our finance guy, and somewhere along the line, my brothers and sisters, we found $30 million. $30 million to renovate this high school and some other places here in our district. $30 million that did not cost the taxpayers anything. $30 million that we didn't have to go out and do a referendum for. That was a gift horse to our community. It was a gift horse to our school district. Take a look at the auditorium that you're now seated in. The lights on the ceiling, the lights on the wall. That was a part of that construction grant that we received. We just finished doing the third or fourth part of the school building, which we have, I think now 80 to 90% of a brand new building that didn't cost our taxpayers anything. No referendums, no nothing. Now, here we go out for bid. We went out for bid for a field house that we don't have, and where everybody else in the north have field houses, and even just across the border to Lowell and Cedar Lake, Indiana, which have complexes, they have a field house. Last week, I had an opportunity to go to Rich South High School, which Richtown High School is building a field house with a cost of $35 million. How do you? And this is something that we don't have, and it's something that would be greatly needed in our sports programs. Our kids for basketball, volleyball, for track and field. For we want to put. I think we want to put daycare. We want to put daycare in it. We can use it for classes, for school and whatnot. And this is something that's needed in our community. For years, it was always easy for us to sit back and not do anything. And now is the time where we're using ESSER funds, not ESSER funds, but ARP funds. And I think we got $21 million in ARP funds. And I think with using ARP funds, $4 or $5 million has to go into what we might say reading, writing, and arithmetic. So with that pushing it down to $16 or $17 million, there's other funds that we have within the district that we can add to the ARP funds to build a field house. The field house that will be for the use of the students and the community, and some of the great things that that our administration and Dr. Walters wants to do with it. It's time for us as a community to step up and be a leader in our community. 5 years ago, before all the construction started, I was here when they put the shovel in the ground, and each and every day that they were putting bricks and mortar, doing the football field, the track and whatnot. I was probably here every day, and I was told I should probably be a consultant, but they couldn't afford me. But the good thing now about the field house that we're voting on tonight to build is something that will continue to bring our community together. It's something that we as a school district can be a leader in our community. It's something that we don't have. The nearest field house to us now is Braidwood, Reed Custer, and the new Rich South High School up north. And I'd ask my fellow board members tonight to step up tonight and be a leader, help us be a leader, and help us in our community to say yes to a field house. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Ms. Johnston.
I grew up in this community also when there were no girls' sports. There was no facilities for us. We had to share gyms. We had no specific locker rooms. We were basically the orphan children of sports. It didn't matter how good we were, how much how many kids were involved. We were always second choice. The fact that, there was a big thing with Title IX, it's the 50th year. The fact that Title IX has opened up doors for us it speaks volumes. And the fact that we can actually have a field house, and I understand that it's expensive, but it's something that now all of a sudden, all the girls that never had anything and had no places to go, they're going to have that field house. And there's going to be actual spaces in there that is specific for them that they are going to be able to use, and something, again, that we never had. As an athlete, I never had it here. As in coaching, I never had it here. We fought for it. We did everything we possibly could to fight for it. But, there was still, we have a boys' locker room. We have the football locker room. But the girls' locker room was just basically the girls' locker room with a whiteboard. Instead of a TV, we had a little whiteboard that I could write on. So we want the same respect, and this field house, I think, is going to give us that. Something that I wish we would have had it when I was here, when I was coaching full-time. I would have loved something like that. And to be able to come back here and to see this in action and to be able to participate in this it makes me happy. And I really hope that this gets taken care of quickly.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Mr. Boland.
I hate to be the guy that picks a pin out and bursts the bubble. I want to be a leader too. I want to be a leader of a school district where students can read and write at grade level or beyond. I want to be a student or a leader where I'm not ashamed to say my kids graduated from Kankakee. They did well. But I want to be a leader where I don't have to look people in the face and say, why are your STAR scores, your reading levels at less than 25%, and your math levels even lower than that? That's not what our job as a school district is, to academically assure that our children and students are competent adults when they leave here. That they can read, that they can write, that they can do complex math, that they can do research, and that they have a desire to learn, and that we foster that more than anything else that we can do. Do I think athletics is an important component of that? Absolutely. We've been given a gift by the federal government, by ourselves, that's our money, and that gift requires us to be good stewards. What do we not know in order to make this decision? We've asked our architects to revise an annual maintenance plan. If we make this decision, it doesn't matter what the plan is because we won't be able to afford it. We have 11 buildings in this district, all of which are, at least parts of, are more than 50 years old, and all of them are requiring maintenance. Under the plan for this budget, yeah, there's still a fund balance, but it goes down by, I believe, $8 million. That evidence-based funding, which is for the use in the education fund primarily, is going to send $8 million over to help build a field house. I was shocked when we were talking about $16.5 million. Do you know how much $16.5 million is? But forget that. Now we're talking $26.5 million. That's the equivalent of $5,200 for every student in this district. And if we spent $5,200 working individually with every student in this district, think what a change it would make, not only for the perception of the district, but for each of the students who now could read, write, do research, have the opportunity to pursue things. We also don't have any idea what our public wants. You know, we spent $30,000 for a polling program, and we've done 2 questions. I would suggest maybe we bring the cost of that down from $15,000 a question to $10,000 a question. Because maybe it's time we ask, we've done no advertisement for any public hearings regarding the ESSER funds. We've done no public hearing of, here we're going to spend, folks, $26.5 million of your money. So we don't know, one, what our maintenance costs are in the future, and by the way, under the plan, there could not be a maintenance expense. That's what our treasurer says. That would mean those boilers that we had to replace back in January, the kids would still be at Asbury Church, St. Martin's Church, and wherever we farmed them out to, because we would not have the money to replace major maintenance issues that are going to occur. And they're going to happen. But you see, we're spending and moving money at the rate of $26.5 million, 17 of which is the ESSER funds, and the rest is money that we're taking out of our current budget and moving it from one fund to the other. We're taking $2.5 million out of our transportation budget. $2.5 million. And that we have, I believe, 19 vans that we just purchased last year that we've not had to budget for before. So, you know, I expect that I won't convince my fellow board members, because the idea of the chance of building a fancy new building, you know, we have 25% more students in this building than we built. The addition, the $30 million we spent, were built for 1,250 students. We now have 1,575 students. Where are we going to house those students? How are we going to have enough classrooms? Because we don't know that. That's another thing we don't know. Now we're talking about we're making classes bigger. Well, that's not my idea of an ideal education, is to make classes 40 people or 30 people instead of 10 and 15. But part of that reason, the biggest part is lack of teachers. But there will be teachers again someday. But there won't be classroom space in this building to accommodate that 1,575 students. There could be, because instead of spending $26.5 million on a building that's going to have a 200-meter track and 4 basketball courts and a small daycare center and some locker rooms. I Googled, and I don't Google very often, but I Googled what would $26.5 million buy in school buildings. Joplin, Missouri built a middle school for 450 students last year. A full building, gymnasiums, libraries, music rooms, the whole thing. You know what it cost? $26.5 million. Totally ironic. But we're going to now take our $26.5 million, not add classrooms. We're not going to maintain what we've got. We're not going to rebuild the swimming pool at the junior high building, which we've postponed and postponed. We can't even assure that we can put in tennis courts to replace the 3 that have cracks so deep that we can't have home meets. Those are all decisions that when we spend the $26.5 million are not going to be made because we won't have the money to spend. Yeah, we had to spend 20% on learning loss, but that's not required that that's all we have to spend. This is the opportunity, as I've tried to suggest for several months, many months, this is the opportunity to hire in-person tutors, to give students the chance to have one-on-one or three-on-one learning opportunities. This is the chance over the next 2 years to do those kinds of things. But instead, we will have a wonderful field house. We already have a great athletic program, and I'm sure this would improve it. I'm not here to argue that it wouldn't. But I am here to say that that's a state championship track team is a wonderful honor and so good for the kids. But instead of 7, 8, 12, or even 20 Illinois State scholars, how cool would it be to have 50, 70, or 100 Illinois State scholars because we're doing our job with academics. We're teaching our kids how to read, how to write, how to do math, how to do science, how to research on their own in a way that is more profound and will reflect it in our scores, in our public perception, because we won't be the poor stepchild anymore. We will have a solid educational program. Now, I'm not minimizing or trying to diminish what we're all doing. What I'm trying to say is this is an incredible opportunity. You know, I always wanted to own a Lincoln Continental. Always had. As a kid, that was the car. But my dad was a farmer, and he always, when I'd say we need to buy a Lincoln, he would always say, no, we need to feed the cattle, we need to put the gas in the tractor, and we need to be happy with our little Ford that was 8 years old. You got to make choices. We have to make choices. I believe the only choice, the number one choice we have and the number one obligation is to teach our children. To teach them to do those things that will allow them to compete and succeed as adults. And with all due respect, I don't think a field house is going to do those things. You know, when it was suggested last meeting that, well, we could have classrooms in the field house. You know, we're trying to attract teachers here. Can you imagine being a teacher and saying, oh, by the way, we're going to hire you, but you got to teach on a bleacher in the field house? That's what we're giving up. We're giving up the chance to have enough space in this building. And by the way, just as a crazy thought, we could add comfort to the buildings that we currently have by even talking about maybe add air conditioning, 1 or 2 of them. I understand we can't air condition the whole district with even $26.5 million, but we could start. So I'm asking the board to wait to see to get answers to what we don't know. We don't know what the maintenance obligations are going to be going forward. We're getting that report. We don't know what our public thinks, what our taxpayers, what our parents, what are their priorities. Let's find out. We don't know what the cost of, well, we do. We have an estimate for the cost of replacing the swimming pool at the junior high, and we know that it's going to be expensive to put in the 3 remaining tennis courts. Those are just the right now projects. But we also can spend money on teaching our kids and supplementing the teaching for our kids, and that's where much more money needs to go in order to grasp this opportunity. So I'm going to vote no, not because I don't admire sports and admire the job done by Mr. Wilcox and admire the job done by all of the coaches, but because I want to make it better for the teachers and the kids. So based upon that, I'm asking the board to vote no. I thought about asking to table this until we get those answers, but I think will be a waste of time. So just vote no, please. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Mr. Williams?
I would like to say, there's a starting point. We've already taken the first step in the athletic department. We already taken first steps in the curriculum department. It's hard to sit here and say that you want better reading and writing and science when you're not teaching the right curriculum. It doesn't make a difference who's in front of the children if the curriculum's not correct. Well, we changed that and we made those corrections. We went from 39 to 79% in 1 year. Okay, so let's dispel that myth. Okay, the accountability is now up front and in your face with the administration and the teachers. That's something that the board asked for, and that's something that they're doing now. So if you're not putting grade level work in front of the children, it doesn't make a difference who you're putting in front of the children. Let's be clear about that. We're now teaching grade level work, and this test scores have proven that it's ineffective. The athletic department has always, in the last few years, have study halls, tutorings for the athletes. The athletes are leading a lot of the school, I ain't gonna say all, but the athletes are leading in academics. Because when your athletics get better, the grades aren't up, you can't play. So the one thing I gotta give praises to the athletic director and the coaches is that they're making sure the students go to class, they're doing their work, they're getting the tutoring, and they're getting all the help and the parental support because they're actually going out and talking to the parents. So let's dispel that. Also, starting point. We're running a successful program in a garage, which means we don't have the facilities to do the things that we're doing. We shouldn't be as good as we are with the facilities that we have. Okay? So the one thing, we need to give the kids what they deserve, what the community deserves. Starting point. You have to come to a conclusion that we do offer tutoring. Okay? You have to understand that because academics has made a turn at Kankakee High School, that we're getting more families into the community, and families are not leaving the community. That's something that we've changed. So you have to understand that we've done that. So why wouldn't we continue that trend and make it better? You have to keep doing what you're doing to keep the school in the school district successful. You have to have accountability on both ends. As a school board, it is our job to make sure that we're giving administration and teachers all the tools that they need to teach the students, and we have done that, and we're continuing to do that. Are there some bumps? Absolutely. Are we making changes? Absolutely. Are you going to like everything we do? Nope. But it's for the betterment of the kids? Absolutely. So we're talking one aspect here, and this is the field house. The field house will greatly improve academics and athletics because you will have classrooms in there. You will have better training facilities. You will have tutoring. You will have counseling rooms. You will. I mean, it's just it's unlimited what you can have in there. And you know, as far as the tennis courts goes, they're getting done next year. So we're not even going to keep harboring on that. They're getting done.
Who said that?
They're getting done.
With what money?
Okay, the tennis courts are getting done. We have the money to do the tennis courts. Okay, and they're not going to the softball field, they're going to the tennis courts first. Yes, and I just threw a shot.
What the hell did that mean?
So, so I'm just sitting here
Why did you
saying,
make that comment?
if we're going to, if we're going to sit here and talk about what's not happening, and I don't want to leave a false narrative, you know, if you're really paying attention, you know that the high school is taking a turn. Yeah, we are taking a turn. It's not going to be easy because we went through years of neglect. But we are making a turn and we are doing things we're supposed to do. And the field house is needed, the kids deserve it, and I'm voting for it.
All right. Does anyone else want to speak?
I do.
Go ahead, Ms. Verrett.
So oftentimes, let me start again by saying I don't know a lot about sports. Actually, the athletes that we have now have made me look into sports a little bit more. So, shout out to the athletes of Kankakee High School and junior high school and all the athletes that we have. So, but oftentimes when we talk about things that in relation to sports, there's always this clear underline, maybe I want to say. Maybe I shouldn't say that because it's kind of out. But there's like this push and pull between athletics and academics. And we often make the assumption that we're doing more for one and less for the other. And I'm not sure why we can't just do both. I'm not sure why we can't do both. So we don't have to downplay what the athletics department needs, you know, and we don't have to downplay what academics needs. We can do both. And so whenever there's an opportunity to help one, we should be as positive as we are for the other. I'm a church kid, and a lot of times they always say things like, if you're blessing one thing and you're in the room, then yours is coming around too. So we're blessing the athletic department right now, but that's not saying that we're not going to bless the academics as well, because we have. And so we're going to do both. We're going to do both. We're not going to only help athletics. We're not going to only be in tune with athletics. We're going to be in tune with athletics and academics. And if you have been listening, and I know sometimes people turn their ear to athletics more in this town because this is an athletic town. I was forced to be a cheerleader, and I didn't want to be because I don't even like sports. But we turn a deaf ear when they come and present things about our academics. And the numbers speak for themselves. The numbers speak for themselves. If you take the time to remove yourself from people's personal opinions on Facebook and take the time to look at the factual numbers, you will see the difference that we have made in the last few years academically.
Yes.
And so I'm not downplaying Facebook because that's how he makes his money too. But Facebook is people's personal opinions. And facts are just facts, and numbers don't lie. They don't. So I want to say this too, because I think a lot of times, as adults, we get caught in our own agendas, and we forget that the kids are listening to us. And so there's some people in this room, or that might be on live, who would be strongly impacted by the field house. And for us to downplay it and say things like, we're building this field house like it's nothing, that might be hurtful to somebody who could benefit from that. It could be hurtful to a student who's saying, you know what, finally, I'll have somewhere to go away from my father who beats me every night. But we're going to downplay it because we're in our personal feelings about it, rather than saying we're going to build this little field house. It might be hurtful to someone to say, hey, finally, when I get out of school, I can go to the field house and get away from my molester every night. But we downplay it by saying we're just going to build this little field house. And so, like I said, I'm not huge into sports, but I'm huge into kids. And I'm huge into my community. And so academics and athletics go hand in hand for all of our students. Some kids are athletes, some kids are good in academics, some kids are good in both. And so I'm not sure why. And I hope I live to see the day where Kankakee can stop dividing the two and start merging the two. Because we can do both, and we will do both. We will do both. And so I also want to say this. I also want to say this, and we talk about being leaders in our community, which we are. And I hate to say that because I know as leaders, people watch you, and I don't like people watching me because I fall. I'm human and I fall. But as a leader, we have to be careful about how we project things to the masses. And so we want our kids to do something that we're not doing ourselves. And so we tell our kids, don't bully people, don't bash people. But when we get up here and make decisions, or someone has an opinion, we bully and bash their decisions on public display in front of our students. We do it every other board meeting. It's sad. It's sad. And it's kind of like having a pot calling the kettle black. Because how can you tell the students to do something that you are blatantly not doing yourself? How? How can you do that? How can you do that? And so, is $26 million a lot of money? Probably more money than I see in my lifetime. Probably is. Is it a lot of money? It is. It is. But are our students worth it? Absolutely. 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 They're worth it academically, and they're worth it athletically as well. And so I'm going to say this one more time, and I'm saying this, I'm repeating myself because Ms. Wells has made a statement today and says you need to hear something 8 times before you retain it.
Thank you for listening.
I'm listening.
Don't do that.
We can do both. We will do both. And so Mr. Boland asked a poll of the board, and I'm going to ask the poll of the board today. I'm going to ask a poll of the board to be an example, to be who we are on paper, and to stop building driving a wedge between athletics and academics, because all of them are our students. They're all our students.
Amen.
All of them are our students, and we need to help all of our students any way we can. And if we have the money to help our students any way we can, that's what we should be doing. It's not about us. It's never about us. It's never about us. It's always what's best for our students. And so sometimes we have to think outside the box. We have to remove ourselves and think about other people and their situations. And everybody doesn't have it like we have it, as somebody else has it. And so whatever our students need, that's what we should be doing. I'm going to say it one more time. I think this is 7. We'll do both. We'll do both. 8, we will do both.
Is there any further discussion from the board? Ms. Archie.
Good evening. I'm going to make this quick because I want to go home. It's already after 9 o'clock. This is my school also. I was a cheerleader coach here. But my cheerleaders could not cheer unless their grades were at a certain place. They could not do it. So I'm pretty sure it's the same thing going on right now. So I know you guys have your grades up because we have checked them. And yeah, we're checking on you, Mr. Wilcox, make sure that they are doing it, would you know that? So as that being said, I just want to say, I pray about everything before I make a decision. And I was just sitting here thinking about it. Some of these young men, listen up there, young man, I'm talking now. Some of these young guys right here, because of that field house, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it because that's gonna be something for them and other things they can achieve by being there. Now, I'm the chairman for curriculum, and I'm all about academics also. But I think we can do this as we come together and stop fighting each other. And we're here for the children. I'm here for the children. I speak for myself. I'm here for the children to get everything that they deserve. And that's the field house. Let me put academics first, then the field house. And I believe I'm going to be watching you guys. I'm going to come to the games, and I'm going to check your grades. Oh, well, I got you. So I'm just letting you know, and if it's not, we're going to bring it to the coach, and we're going to ask you why they're not where they're supposed to be. Good night.
Okay. The full board has spoken except for me, and I just want to push back a little bit on what Mr. Boland said, and I want to remind you all, last board meeting, Felice presented us with the improvement of grade level assignments, and this room was quiet. It was quiet. Nobody broke out and celebrated the fact that our students were working at grade level assignments well above any time that they had been given that opportunity in the past. So if our students are not achieving on the state test and they are not achieving in college or going on to these things, yes, that is our fault. And it is our fault because we did not have grade level assignments in front of our students. But I do have a good news to share with you. So as I went to my training on Saturday, and I shared that with the room of other board members and superintendents, these people did not know me. I was late because I had to drive all the way up to Naperville, and I don't like to get up in the morning because I'm retired. Yes, I am. I'm on retired time. Don't call me before 10 a.m. I got there, and so they were going around the room, and they were asking why we were here, and I told them that I think we need to build trust. And one of the ways that you build trust is you appreciate the accomplishments. And you want us to build academics, but when we present the academic information, there is very little appreciation of the success that the administration presents. I got applause in that room from strangers for the accomplishment of moving from 28% grade level assignments to 78% grade level assignments, because those people knew what it meant. And as Ms. Verrett said, we can do both. Mr. Hill, I used to sit on the board of the Community Resource Center, and I was there when Pat Hudson asked that board to open the gym. And I got in trouble at that board meeting because I said, let's do it for Kay's kids. And she was the superintendent of school at that time. The room fell silent because they did not perceive the children of Kankakee School District 111 to belong to the superintendent. But we have a superintendent here who has put everything she has into this community. And people believe that our students do not deserve what we are preparing for them. But I believe, and I have always believed that our students deserve the best that we can give them. That is why accountability is important. That's why that report that you all gave us this evening on the opening of school and what you're planning on doing for the school year, so important. But it was met with silence from this board. No appreciation and no praise. So I'm giving you that praise right now. I'm very excited about the opening of school. I'm very excited to see how we're going to come into this post-COVID world. I'm very excited about building a building that our children can come to. Our community is dangerous. Children are getting shot and killed, and we cannot sit on our hands and say that they are not worth any effort that we can put forth to save them. I am with you. I want to do the best for our children. I want to give them everything that we have. And I tell my family, because they complain, they're like, Mom, you're retired. Why are you still on the school board?
Yeah, really.
Because I'm not done yet. I want to leave it all on the field.
Oh, wow.
So with that being said,
Can I say one more thing?
we have a motion.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do this, but I have to say this because it was a statement made about wanting to be proud to say you're from Kankakee School District. And I want to just put on record to say that I'm proud to be a K.
I wasn't born here, I wasn't raised here, but I came here and I made it my home. Yes, and with that being said, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Madam Secretary, if there's nothing further from the board, would you please call the roll?
Gathing,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
Boland,
No.
Wells,
Yes. And the motion carries. The field house will be built.
She ain't got enough money to build it. I'm telling her, I don't care what.
All right, we are on
She doesn't
to
have enough money to build it.
I'm sorry.
No, I know we don't.
2, approval of partnership with Saving Youth Through Entrepreneurship. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Moved by Gathering, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Archie, speaking to your mic, ma'am.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Johnston,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
Boland,
Yes.
Gathing,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes. And the motion carries. I'm sorry. We have anything from you, Superintendent?
Yes, I talked with Rachel about copying all of the reports that we have to do in IWAS, which is the system that we communicate with the state board. It was really important for me to bring this to the board because I think that, in fact, I know for a fact, many people in the community think that during the summer, central office doesn't do anything. But there's 114 claims, grants, active grants, surveys, reporting, monthly reports, annual reports. We even have 3 driver education ways to communicate with the state, special education, assessments. There's 114 systems that we have to communicate to the Illinois State Board of Education around. A lot of these reports are close of the year reports or reports that we have to begin for the following fiscal year. So in the summer, we're closing out one fiscal year and starting another fiscal year. So it's extremely busy in central office. Usually central office slows down after the second paycheck for the 9-month staff, which is September 30th. The reason I'm bringing that up is that honestly, we are swamped in the summer. We are extremely busy, working 7 days a week, And often people are sent to us saying that they're really not doing anything, but we're actually extremely busy. So you have a copy of all the reports that we're responsible for, along with hiring, along with preparing for food service, along with new staff orientation. It's an extremely busy time for us, so could you please give us until September 30th to slow down before adding any additional responsibilities? Thank you.
All right. We're on to item J, calendar notes. We have the Back to School Bash on August 18th at 4 p.m. here at the high school. There's also the Learn Anytime, Anywhere Day, and this is an opportunity for you to speak on that, Superintendent.
So Learning Anywhere, Anytime was created when we received, or when we became a CBE, Competency-Based Education pilot. One of the waivers that we had was in time and place. So Learning Anywhere, Anytime does not mean that the students cannot go into the school building. Unfortunately, in the past, students were encouraged not to come on LAA days, but these are times that if a student needs additional support, they can go into the building. So Learning Anywhere, Anytime days are flexible days where you can get support in the building. You can also work from home if you don't have any outstanding assignments, or if you don't have any need for interventions. It is not a day that you completely stay at home. There are days that students may, or the teachers may, the buildings may request that it's a Learning Anywhere, Anytime day, which is mostly remote, but those days should be clearly communicated by the principal, and those parents should know those days in advance.
Okay. And then on August 22nd, we have our next Board of Education meeting, and then I do want to remind the board that we have a special board meeting with Dr. Anise Fisher in our continued work on equity on August 31st. Do we have a place and a time for that yet, Rachel?
LCC.
We'll be meeting at LCC. So is there anything further from the board?
5 to 7.
I'm sorry?
5 to 7.
Yes, okay. 5 to 7, I thought I said that, I'm sorry. But we can say it 8 times. 5 to 7. Is there anything further from the board?
I have one question. Is, Dr. Walters, is the audit starting at this point, or is that?
Actually, the audit process already started because we do not have a full-time assistant superintendent of business and finance. So what is her name?
Carmen? Is that good?
Yeah, Carmen. Carmen has already been in the district for about 3 weeks. About 2 weeks? Yeah, about 2 weeks.
And as part of that process this year, is she going to audit the grants that we have responsible for as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
She does every year. All right. Is there anything further from the board?
I do want to clarify Kankakee Connect. We offer tutoring on a regular basis, particularly at the high school. In fact, we went over budget, offering support at Kankakee High School by, I want to say $50,000 to $90,000. So there's tutoring at Kankakee High School, Twilight Academy and Saturday School. In fact, we are going to get a team of teachers in the building next Saturday to help a few students that still have some DNMs. DNM means does not meet. Maybe they are missing an assignment, or they're below the mastery level, and so we need to get them up to mastery. So there's tutoring on Saturday. We also expanded to Kankakee Connect, which used to be called Up Squad. The software is called Up Squad. Kankakee Connect, so that we can have one-on-one tutoring at the parent or the family's request. So I think it's really important that everyone know that we have offered tutoring opportunities, 1-to-1, 1-to-3, outside of the school day, during the school day, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at the elementary teachers. We've offered tutoring during the school day. We've even gone over budget on tutoring at the high school. What we want to do is make sure that during those opportunities, we are presenting grade level materials, and we're also making sure that teachers have students in front of them. Often there's teachers available and no students are attending. And so we just want to make sure that there's some accountability around the money that we're spending.
Are we using principals for referral, or teachers to refer kids that they think would be helped by
Principals, are you referring to tutoring?
Are you asking the teachers to refer also? Because sometimes parents have no clue. I don't mean,
So can you can you use your voices? Yeah. So for the high school, we're even pulling kids and just like they see me coming in there and they know I'm going to ask them about their PLP. And so we're actually asking the students to pull out their Chromebooks and show us their personalized learning plan, which shows us exactly what they're missing, exactly what they need to work on.
Okay. Is that all, Superintendent?
That's it.
Okay. If there's nothing further from the board, at this time, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
All right, moved by Gadding, seconded by William. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned.
no, that's the only thing, that's the only kind of money we'll have.